Long ago, before maps had names and borders were drawn, there was a village hidden deep in a forest of singing birds and golden rivers. This village had no riches, but its people were content. They harvested honey from tall trees, fished in clear streams, and told stories under starlit skies. But among them lived a child different from all others. He had no name. He had been found as a baby by the riverbank, wrapped in soft moss and carried in a basket of reeds. The villagers took him in, raised him with kindness, but no one could agree on what to call him. Some said he should be named after the moon, others after the river, and others after the wind. So they called him Nameless. Nameless was a quiet boy. He spent his days watching aunts carry leaves, listening to frogs croak near the pond, and following butterflies deeper into the forest than anyone dared go. While other children laughed and played, Nameless would sit beneath the oldest tree in the village and ask it questions. "Why don't I have a name?" he once whispered. The tree rustled but did not answer. One day, during the festival of first rain, a wandering elder arrived in the village. She wore a cloak of stitched leaves, and her walking stick was carved with the symbols of the stars. She listened to the music, tasted the berry cakes, and finally, her eyes fell upon Nameless. "You," she said. "You are the child with no name." He nodded. The elder smiled gently. "Names are not given chill. They are discovered." Nameless frowned. "How do I discover my name?" She leaned in and whispered, "Beyond the hills lies a lake that reflects not just your face, but your truth. The Moon Lake. Walk there alone, and when you see your reflection under the full moon, you will hear your name." The villagers gasped. The Moon Lake was a place of legend. No one had seen it in generations, but Nameless stood tall. "I will go." The next morning, before the rooster crowed, Nameless set out with a satchel of berries, a woolen cloak, and a small flute. He walked through meadows of sleepy flowers, crossed cold rivers barefoot, and climbed stone paths where eagles soared overhead. Days passed. He met a fox who shared its den during a storm. He followed a line of fireflies that lit the dark woods. He crossed a field of whispering grass that sang old lullabies when the wind blew. At last, on the seventh night, he reached a place where the trees bent in a perfect circle, and in the middle lay a still, silver lake. The Moon Lake, it shimmered without a breeze, and its surface looked like glass. The moon above was full, round, and bright, and it floated perfectly on the water's surface. Nameless stepped forward. He gazed into the lake and saw not just his face, but the faces of all the people who had cared for him. The woman who braided his hair, the man who taught him to fish, the child who shared honey cakes with him, the tree he always sat under. Then he heard a whisper. Not from the lake, not from the wind, but from within himself. Elon. It was a name. His name. He felt it in his bones, in the rhythm of his breath, in the way the moonlight touched his skin. Elon meant light of journey in the old tongue. The boy who walked far to discover who he was. Tears filled his eyes. Not of sadness, but of understanding. Just then, a gentle breeze rippled across the lake. A single glowing feather drifted down from the sky and landed at his feet. He picked it up. The moment he did, the trees around the Moon Lake shimmered, and tiny orbs of light rose from the grass, dancing in the air like stars. The whole forest seemed to sigh, as if it had been waiting for this moment for a long, long time. Elon turned and began the journey back. When he returned to the village, the people saw something different in his eyes. He stood taller. His voice was steady. "I have found my name," he said. "I am Elon." The villagers cheered. Drums beat, fires were lit, and the old tree swayed its branches as though in celebration. From that day on, Elon became the storyteller of the village, the boy who had no name, now the boy who knew his true one. He taught others how to listen to the wind, how to follow the stars, and how to hear the names that lived inside them all along. Moral of the story: a name is more than a word. It is a reflection of who you are and the journey you've had taken. Patience, courage, and self-discovery lead us to our truest selves.